Hello, welcome everyone. This is an artist chat with Jannah Williams. Jannah is a 2018 graduate of Delaware State University's studio art program. And we're also joined by art program faculty Lori Crawford. And I'm Jennifer Gunther. I'm the director of the Art Center Gallery. And in just a moment, I am going to go ahead and spotlight Lori and Jannah and turn this over to them. I also want to make mention, in case I forget, that next Thursday, February 24th at 11 o'clock, also during common hours, we will have another chat with a filmmaker, Akima Brown, who we'll have a discussion about understanding creative economy. And if you don't know immediately what that term means, you should join us next week at 11 a.m. to learn more about creative economy. It's really important for creatives to understand how they connect to the creative industry. So with that, I'm going to turn this over to Ms. Crawford and Jannah. Give me a second to...
Okay, well, I'm going to start off by saying it gives me great pleasure as a teacher mentor to welcome back and have before us to share with all of us Jannah's short experience outside of graduation and all the wonderful things that she's been doing. So it gives me great pleasure to be here in this position. So Jannah, let's see, let's start off with graduation day, cap and gowns on, your parents and family celebrating with you. How did you go from graduation day to your next step, like your decision process? Did you feel the pressure that I have to know what I'm going to do right now today or next week?
I definitely felt some pressure, especially because I really wasn't sure where I wanted to go next. I visited some grad schools that summer, and I was still working. What was I working at? I was working at Olive Garden still. And yeah, I honestly had no idea. I thought I was gonna go to grad school, and then I just wasn't too sure, and I didn't end up going. And then so at that point, I was just kind of like, I don't know. I wasn't even doing any like freelance or anything like that at the time either. So I was just kind of like, I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah. So how many months, or what time period went by before you landed into a position or something? And were you making art during that right after graduation?
I was still making art. I actually did. What did I do? I did some like little the art loop. Mm-hmm. I did a couple shows in there to show some of my work. And then I think about a year after, I don't even think it was a year. I think it was like 6 months after graduation, I had decided to join the military.
Okay. All right. You know what? I don't think we mentioned what you majored in at DSU.
Studio art.
Studio art. So what was your concentration?
What did I do? I think I did mostly graphic art. That's what I did for my capstone.
Yes, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And so before we end today, I will share some of those wonderful portraits that you created as a capstone. So you said you went into the military, and I don't want to let that go by. So what part, and what were you doing in the military, and are you still a part of the serving our country?
Okay, so this is how it happened. It's crazy. So my parents were both in for like 20 years, and they retired, and they were trying to get me to go in for so long, and I was like, no, for so long. And then I was just kind of like, I don't know what I'm doing right now. So then I was just kind of like, my friend was going that I was working with, and I kept talking to her about it, and then I was like, I'm just gonna go with you. And I just decided to just do it. I just decided to just do it. Because my thing was I can travel, and I was like, I can do art anywhere, and then I can still, have something that will fund my art as well. But I'm in the Air Force. I joined the Air Force, and I'm security forces. So that's the Air Force police. And then I just recently trained to be a combat arms instructor. So it's still police, but it's a different section, and you train people to shoot weapons, and you do weapons maintenance and things like that.
Oh my goodness.
An
artist with a weapon. Do you have part of your military uniform nearby? Just so.
I do. So here's my little badge.
And what does that badge indicate?
It's to security forces, so it just signifies that you're a cop on base. But we usually wear a beret, but now I have a red hat since I'm a firearm instructor. So I'll either wear my beret or my red hat.
Wow, amazing, amazing. Okay, well, let's get right into some more artsy stuff. So 2020, as we know, our country was experiencing the beginning of the pandemic, and then the social unrest with the killing of George Floyd. So tell us how that impacted you and how you got to be involved with the mural project.
That impacted me a lot, and it was so weird because around that time I went to Greenland for a tour in the military, and it was right when all that stuff came out with George Floyd and everything. And of course that's going to affect me as a Black person. Like, you know, this stuff has been going on for a very long time. It's not new, but it's always one that kind of sparks everything back up again. And I went to Greenland, and it was like I was extremely anxious because it wasn't really a lot of Black people there, even though it was a military base. Like I was the only Black female in my unit, and it was just weird. So everybody was talking about it at that time, and I had to deal with a lot of microaggressions and just other people's opinions, and it was just a lot, like, mentally. And so that experience definitely played a part in my mural. The first mural I did was at the Teen Warehouse in Wilmington. We did the Martin Luther King Day, and so we had a lot of people come in and like help with creating that mural. And then Eliza from Flex Creative, she ended up seeing that one, and then that's how I got connected with her. And that one I just volunteered for. I didn't get paid or anything, the first one. And then she ended up seeing it. I got connected with her, and she reached out to me to do the mural that was outside in the boarded windows. And so for that one, I just had a lot of like feelings.
Can you show a visual of the mural while she's talking about it? You can go ahead, Jannah. So the mural it's combining both pasts. I remember reading an article, it says it's speaking to racial inequities in the past as well as the present. So tell us, if you could describe your process about building the mural.
Yeah, so what I did was I searched up a bunch of different ads from the past, because one thing that bothered me when talking to people when I was over there was that they felt like, they're like, well, why now? Like, why is this happening now? I'm like, I don't know what y'all are talking about, but this is not new. Like, this has been going on for decades. This is history repeating itself. So that's why I wanted to show like the past and going into the present, because people just think that we're just all of a sudden just deciding to freak out, and that's not the case. So I printed everything out, and that was hard for me because I just was trying something completely new. So that was kind of a difficult process, trying to get everything printed out and on there. And then I was really anxious with that because I was scared that people would be angry about it. Just because all you would see at first is just a bunch of like racist ads on the wall, and they didn't have any context yet. So I was really nervous the whole time creating it that I would get bad backlash.
So did you take painting while you were here at DSU? Did that help you?
Yes, that definitely helped me. More so with definitely doing my research, one, and two, not being afraid to take a risk. What did I do? I did, when we did our last painting series, Dr. Tucci helped me I did like a sort of a feminist type of thing. And she like just made sure I knew how important it was to like do my research on it first and just not being scared to take a risk. So I definitely wanted to take a risk with that mural as well, and I did, and I'm glad.
So again, if you could talk a little more about, I know you said you first did a mural involving Dr. King, and then someone saw that work, and that's really a lot how artists get, I don't want to say discovered, but it really is a recommendation. Someone sees your work, they like the work, like, oh, well, check out this artist, and that's what it sounds like occurred with you. And so what size is the mural? How long did it take? Did you have a mind? Did you have like an end result where you thought you wanted to go, and did it change?
For the Martin Luther King one?
Either one.
The Martin Luther King one, I don't remember exactly how, I don't know the exact dimensions of either of them really, I'm sorry. But for the Martin Luther King, I wanted to do something that was kind of easy to follow because I knew a lot of people were going to be coming in to help out since it was like a volunteer thing. So I just wanted to do something simple. That's why I just did like a simple silhouette, and then I just had everybody kind of freestyle the background. And I knew that would kind of come together well.
Yeah, so you can go ahead, you can continue. You said the other mural, the mural that was recently acquired by an organization in Delaware. Can you tell us who?
The Historical Cultural Affairs acquired that one. And it's crazy because I never planned to be a mural artist. I actually used to hate doing really big paintings. So it's just funny how things work out.
Okay, so this is the mural, and that was in Wilmington. And part of the process was, or the idea was, to make use of, I don't want to call them abandoned buildings, but buildings that weren't, some of them had been boarded up, to make use of that space and to beautify it and to put something up to help society. And is that, did I capture that correctly? That's
Yeah.
how the idea came about.
Yes, that's basically what it was. And I love like that the business owners were willing to take that risk as well of letting us do that. And I think it's good that even though people were rioting, I think it's nice that they still wanted to show their support.
Yeah. And so the imagery in the background, those are printed images from past articles and things. Is that right?
Yes.
What about, is there something over top of it to preserve the work since it is on paper?
Yes, I put like an outdoor clear type of gloss over top of it. And I use, so the background is just the Mod Podge glue. And then over top I did add it was like an outdoor finisher that I put. So it wouldn't get messed up with the weather.
And so how did you decide on which, I guess, contemporary people you wanted to highlight in the portraits?
So I just wanted to show just a couple people that were basically affected by things that were going on, that were killed. And then I just wanted to show people that were pioneers in helping the Black community, and also people who are still able to persevere through all that we've been through as well. Yeah,
it's very nice. And so this is when you talked about things repeating themselves, and knowing and hearing the term, the critical race theory, that is a buzzword right now, and seeing, it's really, as an educator, it's really disheartening to hear people misusing that term. That's really, that critical race theory is really a course for graduates, for people, I think the second or third year of people in law school. So CRT is not anything taught in elementary schools. But there are many school systems across this country who are saying that teaching our young people Black history or history about race is uncomfortable, and banning books. And to knowing that we're in Black History Month now, there's no telling for many school districts across the country where that's going to be, or how that's going to be addressed in years to come, and even, next month. So
that makes me really sad. And you know, it's funny. For so long, I didn't even know what Juneteenth was, and that's my birthday. And I never knew, like I had to find it myself. It was actually in the back of my third grade history book, and I happened to stumble upon it. And it's just crazy because that they're saying it's uncomfortable, but we're uncomfortable every day. So I don't like that. It makes me sad because it's important.
yes, and so what we can see is how art can heal us. It can inform society. It can help others see that they're not alone if they're feeling any a certain kind of way. So art, for me, in teaching not only studio art but also art history and art appreciation, that's one of the things I stress upon students, that you can tell a lot about society through the art that's being created. So 50 years from now, people will look back at art that's being created now, like your mural, and they'll know what was going on, get a glimpse of what was going on in society at that time. You know that the title of your capstone work was You Go Girl. And so the digital portrait. So can you just kind of visually tell us about your mindset in creating, I think it was 10 to 12 portraits?
Mm-hmm. So I just wanted to highlight everyday Black women in that, and just, I was really in kind of like a feminist mode at that time. So I was really, well, I still am, but I'm really into just like uplifting women, everyday women. And that was basically my point of that whole capstone.
Wow. And so what software did you use in creating those portraits?
I used Illustrator, and I think my inspiration was kind of like Kehinde Wiley, how he does, how he portrays Black people, and he does the really beautiful, like intricate backgrounds. So that's what I included as well in mine.
Yes. And so I remember the bright, vibrant colors, the strong attention to detail with the hair. The definitely, I could see the Wiley influence, and hopefully we can get a few of these open shortly. And so while we're waiting for those, you had a recent surprise in your life. Can you tell us about that wonderful thing?
Yes, I had a baby in December, and that was definitely a surprise because I wasn't planning on having a baby yet. But I'm really happy, and he's really a sweetheart.
And it's again, and just tying things in with society. And so Ms. Gunther was talking about how busy you are, and so another responsibility, another part of life being added on of being Black woman, a parent, a mother in the military, and that tying in with what's going on with legislation being stalled about helping with childcare and things. So what kind of support are you getting as an artist and a mom, and in regards to childcare, and how does that affect your time to make art, if it does at all?
Yeah, so it's been hard for me to do art right now, especially as a breastfeeding mom. Like, so you have to, it's just a lot of, it's not hard, but it's just tedious because, you're always feeding them probably constantly, like every 2 hours or even less, depending on how they're growing. So it's been hard for me to get back into creating. So I've just been trying to just take my time, and I just do like little stuff for fun. I don't put too much pressure on myself right now. I did stop taking commissions when I got pregnant, and I haven't taken any more just because it's just kind of like mentally taxing, and I just kind of want to do what I want. So that's just what I'm.
Okay, and so taking commissions, let's tell people what that means. And do you have a website?
So I do have a website. I'm actually about to take it down so I can do some more work on it, but it's there. And basically commissions is just when people request to do a specific work for them. So you're basically just doing what somebody wants you to do, and they're going to pay you for it, of course. It's definitely more of a personal type of interaction, because you have to go back and forth, figuring out what they want, what exactly the design that they're looking for. negotiating with pricing, things like that. So it can be taxing, and it does make art kind of feel like a chore sometimes. But it just depends on the person. I'm starting to kind of shy away from it. And I just kind of want to do what I want. I'm getting into that mode. And I might take a few sometimes if I'm interested, but.
So you have turned people down if what they're asking you to do is not in you feel like, okay. Yes. What about pricing?
At first I didn't do that but then I'm like, I'm not going to do something that I don't really want to do, because then it's not going to be my best work. So I will decline people, and I'm like, but I'll refer them to someone else that I think is better, or that might want to take it. But yeah, if I'm not interested, I don't do it.
I read that your dad is also an artist. Is that so? Oh, okay, well, good. We have some images coming up of your capstone. So it was a really, really good attendance. How many people? Oftentimes there are multiple students having a capstone at the same time, and there is Jannah right there with her. I remember her hairstyle changing quite a bit throughout the 4 years.
I was really finding myself.
I just unmuted myself. I found that one, and
I emailed you some as well, Jen.
Oh, okay. Let me pull those up. All right, give me a second.
So those are Jannah's portraits in the background, and so we have some stills coming up. So that was a really good attendance for a capstone. So it was maybe 3 or 4 of you. Do you remember?
Yes.
And what did that capstone experience in preparing your artwork, hanging it, what was that like?
I am really grateful for that experience because first of all, you have to, talk to people, be able to talk about your work. And then you do get to learn all the behind the scenes. I remember we had to make our own flyers and hanging up everything ourselves. I really am grateful for that experience, because now next time when I have shows, I already know what to do, because we already had that experience.
Very good. So talk about these two. You were talking about that Kehinde Wiley influence.
Yeah, so the Kehinde Wiley influence is just basically the Baroque kind of background with a little bit of it laying over top of the figures, and then just portraying Black people in a really beautiful way, making it more elegant and elevating it.
You were saying in this series you were focusing on women and the different aspects and roles that women play. So this is the punk rock girl, I believe.
Yes.
Okay. And tell us about this one. Beautiful eyes, eyelashes.
Yes, I love someone who is just rebellious and just kind of does what they want. That's definitely the phase that I was in at that time as well. I was kind of in my rebellious phase, kind of just like whatever. So I love a person that just is confident in who they are.
And then we have a self-portrait, I believe, that's coming up next. Okay, no, not yet. That's another.
That's for my friend.
I love the layering and that Kehinde Wiley, where the background is coming in and overlapping with the figure. She looks like she's in a reflective mode. Is that what you were trying to capture here?
Yes, she's someone I feel like, well, I don't know if she does always have it together, but she always seems like she just has everything together. And she's always like super aesthetically pleasing, relaxed. So that's what I portrayed in her portrait.
Nice. Here's the self-portrait.
Yes. And everything's sporadic, because that's how I am. Everything's crazy in the background.
And so are you that same person? This is what, 4 years ago?
I would say yes, but I've definitely toned down a lot. But it's still in there, but it's just refined.
So we had started to talk about the fact that your father is also a creative person. So what was that like growing up?
That was fun, because he would always show me like his drawings that he used to do, and he would teach me how to like draw letters, and that's something we would do together. And he still keeps like all my little sketchbooks from when I was a kid. And sometimes he'll bring his out and he'll show me more of his drawings. And that was something that's really nice for us to bond over.
Ah, okay. So what is this an image of?
That's the president. So I got to meet him at the warehouse. He did his press release on election day in front of my mural, and that was really cool. I was so nervous.
Really?
Yeah, I forgot it was COVID, and I tried to shake his hand, and I was really embarrassed.
How did you forget to mention that? Wow, what that is so amazing. And so where is this image?
That's the same place in the warehouse. It's in their art room.
Wow. So how many days, how long did it take from beginning to end to complete the mural?
So I went, I think, the day before to sketch everything out, and then we painted it in one day, in a few hours. It was a lot of people. I think they said it was like 400 people or something like that came in.
And so were you, because it was a community project, did you guide them? You said you sketched it out so they had an idea of where to paint what colors?
Yeah, so I just basically guided them on, what to do with the background, and then just the areas that were supposed to be Black, I just made sure to oversee and just let them know. They did a really good job. I was super scared.
Well, I will tell you, as a creative person, year to year, one, really doesn't know, what's going to come up. And it's what I find inspiring for myself in teaching is that just as the classroom, the students are not always the same, they're constantly changing. It helps me, and I feed off of my students, and I'm hoping that there's something about, what goes on in class influence the students as well, and to bring real life experiences into the classroom.
It does. And I always remember something you told me, because we were talking about kind of pricing my work, and you were like, don't always make it about money. Sometimes it's the opportunity. So that's kind of what happened in my case, because I volunteered to do the Martin Luther King, and I always volunteer, like community projects, stuff that's important to me. I don't care about, the price or whatever. I'm more focused on the message. So I just volunteered to do that one. And then from that one, I got a whole bunch more opportunities. So yeah. I always remember that you said that.
And I hope for the artists and the creative people who are on the meeting and who may hear this later, I hope that is the takeaway, that the opportunity and the experience is so much more valuable than a dollar sign. Mm-hmm. And that those monetary gains can and it probably will come later. And so, the other important thing is, I think a lot of young creatives think that they must be in a field doing art, or else they're not being successful. Would you say that that's not necessarily so?
No, that's not true at all. Because I don't work in art. I mean, I'll do art, but I don't work. Like, it's not my main job. But this year I've had, I just did another mural. I haven't put it out yet, but I did do another mural while I was pregnant at my job at Sallie Mae. And I got compensated really well for that. And that all came from the other two that I did, that they found out that I did. So it's not true. You can have other jobs, or you can use your other work and have that fund your art career, and you can do both.
Yeah. Really important. So folks, it's 11:35 now, but we are going to open up the floor, if you will, for questions in about 10 minutes. So Jannah, describe for us, and you talked about it a little bit, but describe for us how important art is for you in society, like right now, today.
I think it's extremely important, because it's another way to get messages out that maybe sometimes it's not just, because, you can watch the news or you can get on social media, but art just gravitates people towards it. Like, I love seeing just a bunch of people taking pictures in front of the mural and things like that. Like, it just pulls people in a different way than other outlets of media.
And what type of art do you like, or what type of music that helps you, I guess, get in the mood to create?
It really depends on the day, but I don't know. I've really been into like rock music lately. And it's crazy because I had to go to Texas for a while and I came back a country music fan. I never used to like, so that's what I've been listening to more so mostly is rock music.
So do you have any advice for art studio, new media majors that you wish somebody had shared with you while you were in school or right after graduation?
I wish right after graduation that I did get a master's, because now I'm like thinking about it, but it's like now I don't really feel like it. So I wish I would have did it. So yeah, if you're thinking about going to grad school, I would just do it back to back. Also, don't be afraid of your own success. I messed myself up a lot just being scared to take advantage of opportunities.
Wow. And so you mentioned that you have a website. How else do you promote your work?
I did start a YouTube channel. I did take a break from that, but I'm coming back to YouTube. Where else do I post? I post on Instagram, TikTok. I try to get into the social media, and then my website as well.
And so how do you decide what work? Are you thinking about an audience, for instance? Are you promoting the same work and the same imagery on TikTok as you do on Facebook? Or how do you make those decisions?
They're all like super different, and I'm still trying to figure it out, like what works on each app, because they're all different. But like Instagram, I post more of like photos of my work. On TikTok, I do more of like my process in creating with the finished product. Facebook, I kind of just post and go, like whatever. And then YouTube, I would be more of more posting my process, but just like in a longer. Actually, the mural with the ads and everything, I did record the whole process of that, so you kind of just see more in depth on YouTube of what my process would be or what I'm doing.
In an ideal world, where do you see yourself in 10 to 15 years?
Ideal, I would just love to just be an artist and that's it, and not work. But shoot, 10 to 15 years,
that's still my goal as well.
Yeah, 10 to 15 years, I really could be retired. If I stay in the military, I could just retire in 15 years. Because I'm already 3 years in, so I'll be close to 20 years. So I might just keep that and retire. And then, yeah, hopefully I could just do art and, just take care of my kid.
That was my part of my thinking when I decided to teach, that I studied computer art, and I thought I was going to move to the West Coast and work on, work and create animations or so. But then I got offered this job to teach, and I thought, wow, I'll have my summers off, and that's the time I can be an artist. I won't have to, still get paid. And so 25 years later, I am still here, but I don't regret it. I don't regret it at all. And so when I hear you saying that you're already thinking about how the military can provide you with, 10, just 15 more years, and that for some people that might seem like a long time, but if that's going to provide you with steady income after that time period, as young as you are, that really can allow you to have a whole nother career.
Yeah, I really thought that's really why I joined mostly too, because my parents, they were retired by like 42, and they were already retired. They still work just because they have something to do, but they really don't have to. So I'm like, sounds good to me.
So tell us, just for another 5 minutes before we open it up for Q&A, tell us a little more about being in the military, what that was like, or what that is like.
It is different. It's definitely a different experience. I really just jumped in, like even with being security forces, like I never envisioned myself to be in like a police type of role. But it was not, like I like doing stuff to challenge myself. So that is kind of why I did that, because everybody was telling me, don't do that job, like it's hard and it's a male dominated job. And I was like, nah, I'm just gonna do it because y'all telling me I can't do it. And I'm small, like I'm a short person and I'm small. So they're like, no, you're so small. I don't care. So I didn't, and I did it, and it was hard. It was definitely challenging. I had to fight my instructors. I got pepper sprayed. I got tased.
Wow.
So yeah, I went through a lot, but it's like fun. Like it's, I don't know, it's such a weird way. Like they say embrace the suck, because it sucks, but you make it fun. Like you make it your own, and then when you look back on it, it's a great experience. But I really got to travel. I've been to Texas a bunch of times, and I got to go to Greenland. I've never been out the country, so that was my first time.
How was that? How was that in Korea?
It was so beautiful. It wasn't really nothing to do out there except for like outdoor stuff. But I got to go ATV riding. During work, like it's not really much crime there, so we're doing more like security. So we get to drive around and like explore a lot. Super beautiful waterfalls. Got to touch the Arctic Ocean.
Wow.
It's gorgeous there. And it was daylight the whole time, like 24 hours a day.
Really? Really? That must have been an experience.
Yeah, it was. I worked night shift, but it was never really night. So it wasn't like super hard to adjust, but it was hard sleeping just because it was always daytime.
Has any of your military work cropped into your artwork yet?
Yes. So like I was saying earlier, my experience in Greenland, that kind of shaped what I put in that mural, just because like I just had a lot of feelings. I was kind of angry just from what I've experienced there. So that's really what inspired me with the mural. But I have gotten other opportunities. Like they've asked me to design like patches for the unit and stuff like that. Yeah. So yeah, I do get to intertwine the two sometimes.
So back to the mural project, tell us a little more about the process. And so right now, I think I heard you say you've completed 3 different murals.
Yes.
Okay, so we see a little bit of this one. Okay, we see this full image now. So tell us, just kind of walk us through the process for this one.
So for this one, I basically was just searching on the internet like a bunch of racist ads, and I did actually include some from other races as well, just because I just wanted to show like just how bad things have been. And even though it's not as loud, it still exists. And I included some ads from like the riots from back then, just to show that it's literally the same thing right now. Like people think it doesn't exist.
1940s, 1930s, Oklahoma.
Yep. And then what else did I include? I included the slave ad, because I just really want people to see like their generational trauma that's just been passed down and passed down and passed down, and to really understand why people are so emotional. Not saying that, you know, we should always tear up our cities, but why people feel that they need to do that to be heard. Why do you think people feel the need to do that to be heard? Why people are so emotional, why people are so hurt. So I really just wanted to just show it. And I really, even though it's harsh, like it's the truth and people need to see it.
And again, art is a way of healing. I was going to say, the first word was bad places, but I would say sad places. And that seeing artwork is better than seeing even graffiti, well done graffiti. Even seeing that is better than seeing a boarded up wall or windows that are broken. And it does bring a liveliness to communities.
It does. I love even before I had one out there, like I love just driving around Wilmington and seeing other people's like murals and stuff that they have out there. It makes people happy. People want to jump out and take pictures. Like people would come by as I was doing it and talk to me. And I really thought that was nice. I love that.
Yes. All right. So knowing that some people have a 12 o'clock class, including myself, let's go ahead and open it up to questions. Any can ask anything related to art or the military. And anybody, so if you maybe raise your hand, and that way we know that you have a question. And while we're waiting for people to raise your hands, Jannah, is there anything, I don't know, that we didn't ask that you're wanting to share with us, or?
Um, I don't know. I would just say, like, for the students, just enjoy your time in college because it goes by fast. Appreciate having people to talk to about your work. Oh, appreciate having people to talk to. I miss having people to just be like, hey, what do you think about this? Or even just getting critiqued. Like, I miss that because now when I make stuff, I just have to hope that what I think is good enough. And yeah, keep good relationships with your professors because you just never know in the future when you might need them or vice versa.
And you're a really good example of, I was always proud of the fact that in our program that our studio students get experience in many different mediums, whether, lots of students don't know that they can sculpt, they can do 3D
Mhm.
or photography or printmaking, and then computer graphics and painting and watercolor. And so tell us about how those different mediums helped you as an artist.
They definitely help. I actually never did any type of computer graphics before I got to college. And then I ended up choosing that for my capstone because I did really enjoy it. I didn't really plan on, and I thought I was going to keep going with that. I didn't think I was going to continue on with painting so much, but then I started enjoying painting more. So yeah, it definitely helped me. I learned a lot of new like techniques and ways to do art. Like with oil painting, I never oil painted ever. So that was something that I learned that was totally new. Everything really helped a lot. Even sculpting, we're just working with mixed media. I've included that in a lot of my work. And I like to kind of just tie everything together sometimes. So it does all still come into play years later.
Very nice, very nice. So tell us a little about your little bundle of joy. JC is his name.
So he's 9 weeks now, I believe.
Wow.
Yeah, he turned 2 months on the 9th, so I had him December. Being pregnant is hard. I didn't know being pregnant was hard. I did not enjoy my pregnancy, but I enjoy being a mother. So yeah, I just felt a lot better like after he was here. But being pregnant, that's a struggle. Yeah, shout out to all the mommies out there, because whew.
Are you still in Wilmington? Do you have orders to be deployed anywhere soon?
No, so what's funny is that they were talking about deploying us right after. So I just got back from Texas because I went to the combat arms school to get my instructor certification, and I came back and they were talking about deploying us. And it was crazy because I was on orders, but I was on orders at Dover, so I was still in Delaware, and we were working. Yeah, and I just thought that I was so tired and I could not figure out. I was coaching dance at the time too. I quit my coaching job, and I didn't know what was wrong with me. Like, I just thought I couldn't get myself together, and I thought I was just lazy. And I found out I was pregnant, so I'm not going on deployment because you get a year after your pregnancy until you're eligible to deploy. So they're going, but I'm not. I'm happy I'm not going. I need a break anyway, since I've traveled a lot since I've been in. So I don't plan on going anywhere anytime soon unless, stuff really hits the fan and they force me to go. But hopefully not.
Well, hats off for you for juggling so many jobs at once. And I'm sure I can speak for many of the people on the line how much we admire what you're doing, and we'll support you in any way we can. And thank you for coming back and talking to us and talking to other students for them to see in real time the success of someone, and that we can see the joy that you have in your art making process, being a mother, being in the military. So just clearly a well-rounded person, and we're so very proud of you.
Thank you. I'm glad to talk to you guys again.
Well, Ms. Gunther, I think unless anybody has any questions, I think we are ready.
Can I ask a question? Can I ask one last question? The reason I showed that picture of you installing at your capstone is that we've got a big group graduating in May of this year and preparing for their capstones right now. And if you could give them one tidbit of advice for the capstone process, which is the culmination of a studio art degree program, what would that be?
I would say really prepare yourself, kind of know what, your process, or, what your reasoning behind everything was. Because people are going to want to ask questions, of course, and ask for help if you need it. Like, seriously, go to your professors. I used to always go to my professor's office all the time, all of them. And if I needed help, I would go ask for help or advice or whatever. Like, don't be scared to ask for help. Use your classmates. As you see, my classmates was helping me hang up my stuff, making sure I was straight, and I did the same for them. We were all really close. I don't know how you guys are, but we were all really close, and we always help each other out. So help each other out.
Great advice. That they're not on an island by themselves,
yes.
And that you, like you said, your peers can help, and getting feedback. I definitely hear you're saying that, because you're right. Now, when you're out of school, there's no one to say, well, fix that. And what is that over there? And so you really just grow to just trust your instincts. And sometimes we don't get it right. But, I like the idea. It's very important for the students to hear that, to ask for help. You're not alone. And even though we're a bit distant, we're here. We're here. So Jannah, so how can people get in touch with you to reach out to you? How can they get in touch with you?
Catch me on Instagram or my email. I check my email. Like, I'm better at email than even text, because I always check my email. So email, Instagram, TikTok, all those things, the social media. So don't add me on Facebook. I keep that really just for the family. But Instagram, Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, email.
Okay.
And all that is on my Instagram, like my email and everything. It's Jannah.s.williams@gmail. And my Instagram, my art Instagram is art by JSW. And then my regular Instagram is j.the_artist. Cool.
Thank you so much, Jannah. Kudos to you and good luck.
Thank you so much. It was nice to see you guys.
Thank you, Jannah.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye all. Thank you everyone for attending. Please don't forget next week, same time, Thursday, February 24th for Creative Economy.